Hey, this is Kevin Douglas. I'm recording some more vintage tonight with Aggro Shops, and we're on the draw. And this looks like a pretty good hand. Nothing too busted, but does have a sphere of resistance with an ancient tomb to get down, mana crypt. We're gonna have a pretty good turn one. Um, maybe drawing like one fast mana so we can go like sphere resistance and get a creature down on the board. So actually, we can already play the Sphere Resistance and Phyrexian Revoker. So I think we're pretty good. Our opponent mulligan to 6. So we can kind of hope they're not on Dredge here. So they decide to keep that 6. And it looks like they put a card on bottom. So go ahead and see what they want to do on turn 1. Mistress Factory. So it looks like it's going to be a Shop's Mirror. Yeah, so we're going to see a Foundry Inspector. So this hand no longer looks that great. Although we might be able, Phyrexian Revoker on a Mana Vault's not terrible, especially if they're just on a factory. And Thorn of Amethyst. We have quite a bit of mana and a Sphere Resistance. So that's a little bit of a bummer. Trying to think here if we can still cast our Phyrexian Revoker. Might not be able to this turn, so I think we're going to have to place Ancient Tomb. They're all tapped out, and actually our hand isn't terrible against them top decking right now, because we can Phyrexian Revoker, their Mana Vault. They're going to be really short of mana, even with that Foundry Spectre, because of the Sphere's Resistance, especially if we can play these Sphere of Resistance out after we get like a little bit ahead on board. So I think we Ancient Tomb just play Crypt this turn, which I think is about all we can do. Then we'll go ahead and pass. Phyrexian Revoker is going to cost more because of Sphere Resistance. We could have cast it through a Thorn, but yeah, and actually that Mana Vault, they're pretty far away from being able to untap that anyway. So maybe a better target for Phyrexian Revoker comes across this turn. We could name like Ravager or Steel Overseer, actually. So hopefully we get lucky here for a couple of these mana flips, mana crypt flips. Drawing land is good. Land is what we're going to want when we're dealing with this Thorn, a Sphere, and possibly spheres of our own. And so I think I'm just going to name Revoker on a on the Mana Vault. Let's see. So we've got 5 mana actually. And we can cast a Snare Thopter and start racing here. That actually might not be that bad. Although we are taking a lot of damage from this Ancient Tomb, it might not be bad to get a blocker down, at least for this Foundry Inspector. So actually, I think that's what I'm going to do. Just try to preserve my life a little bit, especially because we have that Mana Crypt. So I think we just name... It doesn't really matter. They've already cracked their Lotus. And we're probably going to block the Foundry Inspector if they decide to attack. But I think we'll still name Mana Vault. I could name like Soul Ring or something just in case they like top deck it. And again, there's cards like Arcbound Ravager or Steel Overseer, which might be in their deck. that might also be good things to name. But honestly, I think that it's probably going to be used to chump, so it might not be that important. Tolarian Academy is annoying. Yeah, and there's that Walking Ballista. That's another common card that it's going to be a little bit annoying. And unfortunately, if we can't cast both the Snare Thought and Chief Foundry, that Walking Ballista might get big enough to present a bit of a problem with that Tolarian Academy. So that was a great draw for them. Definitely want to yield to that. Pick heads again. Won the flip. 2 lucky flips. Precursor Golem. Precursor Golem is interesting. So they can get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think we just start pressuring with Precursor Golem this turn, and then Chief of the Foundry next turn. So that was a great draw for us. They're just a little bit too big for this Walking Ballista. And they're going to present a pretty good clock. Especially once we get this Chief of the Foundry down. So they're going to choose to untap their Mana Vault. Use that extra mana to make their Mistress Factory into a 2/2 creature. They might attack in here, actually. Nope, seems good for us. We'll keep picking heads. It's been pretty lucky. Mishra's Workshop is super good. So we cast Workshop. We could just try to lock them out of the game with a couple spheres, or like Chief of the Foundry and a sphere. They do have plenty of mana though. So I think we just get aggressive. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 mana, which is enough to cast both Chief of the Foundry and Snare Thopter. So I think we just get aggressive. I mean, that is kind of the point of this build of shops. And just start crashing in here. So I do want to leave like a blocker behind, which I'm going to have to with Chief of the Foundry anyway, because they're going to be able to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 7 with the Walking Ballista if we don't block something. And we could lose to our own Mana Crypt. So if we're able to block Foundry Inspector with Chief of the Foundry, let's see here, that would just make us take 1, 2, 3, potentially 4, still puts us out of range from our Mana Crypt. So I think we're good to just swing in with everybody here. Puts him down to 2. And maybe I could have left 1 Golem back. I don't know if it changes our clock really if we did, you know, 12 as opposed to 16. So they're going to play a Mox Jet. And then this next card's going to have to be pretty good. Arcbound Ravager. Gross. So, I think that's just game. Because they're going to be able to put a bunch of tokens on the Walking Ballista. Yeah. And you know what? I Friction Revoker. Yeah, so I wonder if I named the wrong card with that Friction Revoker. Because I feel like they used that mana. So let's see here. I don't really know. I mean, Duplicant. Let's see here. When it enters battlefield, exile target non-token creature. Excuse me. We could duplicate some of their creatures. Sorcerer's Spyglass seems pretty good. And I think that we can probably take out Spheres. And Thorn. Now we're 3 cards short. Maybe add in a couple Porcelain Legionnaires. And a Duplicant. And so we have Null Rod in our main board. I think that's going to be good against this against the version of Shops that we're playing against. And so this is a super solid hand because we're going to be able to get a turn 1 Null Rod down. And the only thing that really hurts is our Mox Sapphire, and I think it's going to hurt, hopefully, them a lot more than us. And we've got Chief of the Foundry, a Duplicant to kind of back it up. So we're going to go ahead and keep. We got a Ghost Quarter to take care of, Mishra's Workshop. So I hope that this is a good enough hand here. And so I think we lead Mox Sapphire, Ancient Tomb. If we wanted to save the life, we could... I think I want that Ancient Tomb in play first, so that we, paired with Tolarian Academy next turn, we have a lot of mana to work with. So, this isn't really going to do much except for boost our Tolarian Academy. And hopefully this is just a bit of a silver bullet. It's going to depend, though, on what their hand looks like. So there's Workshop. I think we'll Ghost Quarter that next turn. So there's Max Emerald. Let's see, we could make 1, 2, 3, or 5 mana. No, I think we're okay to just the Ghost Quarter here. They're gonna get to hit us with their Foundry Inspector. This Mox Sapphire doesn't do anything. So I think as long as we can draw into some gas, we're going to look like pretty good shape. Phyrexian Revoker, I don't know if there's any really good targets in our deck for Phyrexian Revoker. Especially now that we've like Null Rotted. All right, Snare Thopter is good. So go ahead and play Tolarian Academy. Chief of the Foundry is going to cost 3. Not enough to cast. Well, we could start getting with hasty damage. Then next turn, play Chief of the Foundry. I think I like that. We're going to take 5. Yeah, I think we do that. We're gonna. I mean, they'll put us down to 8. But I mean, I don't really want to block with the Chief of Foundry anyway. I guess maybe I do. Maybe they need this Foundry Inspector, so they won't attack in. So I think maybe I'll just preserve my life total. Do the Chief of the Foundry this turn. I think we're ahead. If we can just draw into some gas, and we do have a lot of gas in the deck. So I think I can be a little bit defensive right now. Kind of hoping that they don't really have any more land. Hope they were just kind of banking on all these mana rocks. It'd actually kind of be nice to, well, there's another workshop. Memory jars, interesting. It's going to set them up for a good turn next turn. Well, I mean, they can't really do anything without, with Null Rod in play, so actually it's not so bad for us. That's an interesting addition for sure. So, duplicate. We could nab a Foundry. We could get their Foundry Inspector. But honestly, with Chief of the Foundry, it's probably better as a 3/5. So I think I'm going to play this now. Let's see here. What can we do with... if we play a Snare Thopter for 4, we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nah, it's just not enough to cast the duplicate too. So we're going to cast the duplicate first. And they have a 2/1. The thing is, I mean, it's going to be a 4/3. But I think I like it better as a 3/5. And I don't think I'm going to do that because they have plenty of mana. If I felt like I could really hurt them by limiting their mana, then maybe I would have exiled that card, but excuse me. Precursor Golem's pretty good for them. There's another Null Rod. Not really what we wanted to see. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 mana. Snare Thopter. I think we just preserve our life here. We can block pretty well and start chipping in with a Snare Thopter. The duplicate, trade with their golems, or kill their golems. But they are quite a bit wider than us. Yeah, Arcbound Ravager, not very good for them right now with Null Rod in play. I mean, in fact, they chose Arcbound Ravager with their Phyrexian Revoker. Of course, they can, I don't know, maybe find a way to kill it. I don't think we have anything in our deck in terms of removal, so, but I don't think it really matters. I'm still going to block a token just in case there's something I can do that, you know, impacts their all of their golems. So we'll play Chief the Foundry. Play another Null Rod, and we'll just keep chipping in with the Snare Thopter. Because now we have excellent blockers. I still have 4 cards in hand. But you know, I think you know, if they attack in here, we're gonna destroy 3 of their creatures, and it's gonna give them pretty poor attacks next turn. So I think as long as we can survive this turn, we might not be in horrible shape. But again, it just depends on what those 4 cards are. I think all of their most broken things are probably like Arcbound Ravager related, Ballista related. Null Rod is doing a good job of keeping those at bay. They might have some bigger creatures like a Lodestone Golem. But the Duplicant, you know, can block a Lodestone Golem pretty well as a 4/6. So yeah, they're just gonna kind of keep going wide a little bit. And yeah, they just don't really have favorable attacks here, so we'll just kind of keep chipping in. And so flying is really good in this matchup. I don't think they have anything that can block a flyer, unless somehow they have a way to like make like Thopter tokens or something. I don't know that Angerback Walker is popular in shops, in this kind of version of shops. I can't remember if people were testing that with that a little bit when it was new, but I don't think I've seen that card very often. All right, so they're gonna skip their main, go to attacks. Here comes here comes 3 guys. And so excuse me. We'll block as much of the damage as we can. They might have like a Dismember or something. But I mean, they're dead to casting it, so I think they're just gonna get in for 2 here. And I think they just kind of have to attack just because I mean, they can't just kind of keep taking hits and not doing anything. So Null Rod was a real all-star in this matchup. We'd definitely be dead if we didn't have it on board. Precursor Golem is excellent. So we'll play Precursor Golem of our own. Get a couple of 5/5s. Yeah, and they'll scoop to that. So go to sideboard. I think I kind of like this main deck, or this 60 cards. I don't think there's really anything we need to change out being on the draw. All right, so we got Lotus, Ruby, Mishra's Factory, 5 mana. Lodestone seems a lot better. I mean, it doesn't really seem good at all in terms of just like hitting their mana. It's a good creature. I think we keep this. I mean, we could try to mulligan for a Null Rod. It was super strong, but this does get us off to a pretty quick start. Unfortunately, though, we're still just going to be at 3 mana on turn 2. So we'll want to make sure to be mana efficient. Probably cast the Snare Thopter or the Lodestone Golem first, so that way we can still cast Chief of the Foundry. But I'm going to keep. I don't really feel like mulliganing down to like a Silver Bullet. Especially when it may or may not be a Silver Bullet. They have plenty of creatures that don't rely on activated abilities, where they just got ahead of us could be really brutal. So they start off with Workshop. Inspector is good start for them. Foundry Inspector is good for us too. So let's see here. We can go. We have to go Factory. Ox Ruby. Black Lotus. And so now, if we go Foundry Inspector, we could actually go Foundry Inspector Chief of the Foundry this turn. Snare Thopter maybe next turn, because we'll have 3 mana. As long as they don't play a Sphere, which they should probably have sided their Spheres out. So I think I like that line. They have a lot more cards in hand than us. I think we gained a little bit of tempo on that turn 1 there. But they're going to be able to keep abusing that Mishra's Workshop, and I think that's probably where we're going to fall behind with that Foundry Inspector. Because they're going to nab that Mox Ruby. So we got to hope for either another Mox, some fast mana or something. Otherwise, we're a little bit stonewalled here with these 4 drops in hand. Honestly, I wouldn't mind just drawing more Chief of the Foundries. It seemed like a pretty good strategy just to go bigger than them last game. Ratchet Bomb is pretty good. Yeah, so I feel kind of behind in this matchup now. Yeah, we definitely, I think we just take that hit there. We could Ghost Quarter their Mishra's Workshop. I think we need the mana though. Unfortunately, we got that dead Ruby there. So I think we just go Factory. And we have to pass here. But this does become a 4/4 with Chief of the Foundry playing another Mishra's Factory. Although, no, we can't do that because we don't have the mana to activate it. Yeah, so I think we are in trouble. So yeah, when that Ratchet Bomb gets to 3, they have a pretty good diversity of casting costs on the creatures they've played right now. So they're if they crack the bomb, we lose our Foundry Spectre, cheat the Foundry. We're way behind on mana compared to them. So something big coming here. Walking Ballista for 3. I think that might do it, actually. I mean, if they hit our Foundry Inspector, they're going to hit the Chief Foundry, actually. Yeah, so it was really good last game, getting a lot bigger than them, so I think getting rid of that, pretty good strategy. I think we have to block here. It doesn't feel great, but we can't just afford to keep taking like hit after hit. We could cast a Lodestone next turn and then block. I guess maybe that makes sense. We're going to take 8, 10, 7. I think we have to block. Maybe hope for some fast mana here. Phyrexian Metamorph. We could have it come in as a Foundry Inspector. What really stinks is that all of our creatures in hand now are 4 CMC. So that Ratchet Bomb is just looking so good right now. Yeah, so I think we're just going to copy this Foundry Inspector. It's going to cost 2 life, but if we trade it for a, I mean, we could cast, copy a Ratchet Bomb. That's too slow. Go Foundry Inspector. At worst, you know, we lose 2 life to trade for their Foundry Inspector and save 3 damage. I guess now the Ratchet Bomb, because this comes in as a copy of Foundry Inspector, you know, now this card has a 3 CMC cost, so yeah, we're going to see a factory come in here. Yeah, it was kind of a, I'm not sure if that hand was really worth keeping there. So I think we block. Well, I don't think we can block because we can't cast anything if we don't block, so it kind of stinks, but I think we just have to take it. Puts us down to 2, and I think we're just dead on board. Yeah, so good games. I don't even know what I could draw to get out of here, but it's probably not worth wasting the time. So yeah, Phyrexian Revoker is not good. So yeah, unfortunately, that last game, you know, I just kind of got excited about the quick start, but we didn't really have much in the way of mana. You know, we had the Mox Ruby, but beyond that, we just had a bunch of lands that tapped for 1. So we didn't have any of our Ancient Tombs. We didn't have any of our Mishra's Workshops. None of our busted Artifact Rocks. You know, more busted than a Mox, I guess. And so we just fell super far behind with a hand that was really expensive with the Snare Thopter and Lodestone Golem. So I probably should have mulliganed that hand away, especially on the draw. I think, you know, just a bit of a learning experience, and I think maybe next time in the same situation I might do something a little different.